So, we got Vereena, eh? Vereena Vampire 6 for 10. Deploy, give enemy unit bleeding 4. So on deploy, if we are assuming that 4 turns are happening, you get your 10 for 10. And it has a condition, bleeding units cannot be boosted. It doesn't specify enemy units or your units or anything, so any bleeding units cannot be boosted, which is interesting, which is sorta new, but at the same time kinda repeat what Direbear is doing for Skellige. You don't really see Direbear played at all. Some fringe cases where opponents set up like triple ladder on the row. Sometimes it's probably against Erland. It's possible to do, but most of the time the card sees no play, and it potentially seen play from Magic Compass, those scenarios. You don't really put that into your deck. Give an enemy unit bleeding 4. Bleeding units cannot be boosted. So, and on the other hand, it has a slight weakness. If your units cannot be boosted, well, you are in for the bad time if you're going against Nilfgaard that can copy your Nekurats and just bleed your ladders, for example, bleed your to be fair, your other engines are boosting by 1 per turn, so not much. Imo Vereena could have had something to support Devotion Vampires, not just Vampires, since Rentry Vampires aren't really struggling. Devo is a difficult mechanic, game design-wise. Yeah, Devotion usually lacks tools that neutral cards provide. You don't have enough locks, purifies, toll punishes in like multiple factions. If you want to run Devotion, so you're more vulnerable. Potentially you're having more points, but then we've seen, before Gwynviandre nerf, we've seen multiple times where that wasn't cases as well. Well, will be a valuable asset here. Why is this 6 for 6 card, 6 for 10? Yeah, it's 10 for 10, amazing. But it goes straight. How necessary is this card? Like Dave mentioned that Rentry Vampires are doing all right if they manage to win round 1, get last say with Regis. They are like still playable. Здорово, Marlock. 10 provisions. Well, you are not kicking Rune Mage out of your deck, most likely. Здорово, Pio. If we're talking Devotion Vampires, then you free up the rent-free provisions, you free up Rune Mage provisions, rent-free gang, so you can find a spot for Vereena in your deck. Not at all necessary, you could swap Detlef, I guess, but still meh. I'm just afraid it's gonna be like a shit show against Nilfgaard, and you will be disappointed if you ever drop this, or if, well, the card being 10 provisions, they copy it with Torres and play it out. For tournament to target boosted decks, Then you need to like spread the bleeds. Sometimes you want to spread your bleeds between rounds so that your Regis is getting buffed every turn. But it's an interesting concept. What is happening with Sigvald here? Bleeding unit cannot be boosted, but at this... Okay, so... You drop Martrom. On Sigvald, it starts bleeding, so it cannot be boosted with it. There is a like stuff to test with this card. How it works out. This card feels underwhelming. Yeah, that's what I was asking J. Willem James, and that's the question. How necessary is it to put into your deck? How risky it is that it goes against you? What else is bleeding? Spreading the bleeds outside of Nilfgaard, just copying your strategy. Nobody is playing Pastore, and nobody will. Skellige usually just damages. There are some bronzes that give bleed. Very much up dependent. Okay, yeah, Syndicate is a good call. Yeah, that card spreads the bleed, so you probably want a defense there. You also have Whale, but nobody's playing Vampires with Carapace. You tag this for Vampire Mirrors? Well, you're playing for 10, which is not exactly amazing. Feels like it could... it needs like bleeding 6. Yeah, 10 on paper doesn't sound too exciting, and yeah. With the risk of this backfiring, might have been a different stat line. Feels like this card is missing an order or something. Yeah, we got you, like, it's a great... Can I put it like this? It's a great card for the archetype of vampires to have more control, not the toll punish, but preventive measures of like stopping greedy engines and whatnot. But we got used to the bad shit cards that you hold till the last turn and get your big Sove Patricidal Fury point swings. That now this not engine but a like passive ability card feels very underwhelming, because well, 4-5 card releases, card drops happened that well, made that a new reality, basically. Let's think outside. What's the deck outside of Vampires that could use would like this? The problem is, what is how are you spreading the bleeds? People were playing Unseen Elder in non-devotion decks, but the problem is it's random enemy unit, so you're not spreading it there. Can you run... Well, if you played Gwent, you remember when Detlef ability was like damaging by 1 and on Dead Blow spawn Ekimara. So potentially you can work out a leader synergy with Vereena. You know how Carapace is getting played, or Overwhelming Hunger is getting played occasionally outside of their leader ability? There is a reason it's unseen those couple of years, most likely. It has to be in an engine overload deck, otherwise she's just getting removed. It's just hard to imagine the passive condition being that easy to trigger. Well, Blitz need to be always refreshed. They do not really auto-apply. Bonded monsters with knife jugglers, that's something that Sintren would definitely play. He actually beaten me with some bandit deck like a couple of weeks ago. If an accurate sticks, you typically have more blinds than you need. Yeah, but you still need to click it. That's the point. You cannot really out-tempo opponent and stop all his units from boosting. First of all, yeah, they just play a new one, if we're talking Syndicate Spenders, for example. But it's an interesting control, no, like, influence tool. And, okay, a fast reminder that we are probably getting a 1,000,000 card reworks this patch. Sidgard, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Nice to have new faces here and old faces as well. Not streaming that much recently, so recently for over a year now. So nice to see all you here. I appreciate it. A reminder, yeah, that a lot of cards can be reworked. Let's see. Even if we look at the vampire cards. Bruxa is well, once again, it's a nice bronze for provisions that people don't really run anywhere nowadays, because vampires people are just not playing, and you don't really need Bruxas outside of that. So are they buffing? I remember times when Bruxas were played and Vamps were pretty dominant. Plamords, good cards on paper for vampire deck, if you can, like, if you have 3 slots for those. Garcane is a cheap engine, round 1, pretty good, long round, pretty good value. Necrorat is fine for his 5 provisions. Alps with Flathers, pretty nice synergy. Gale is strong when it's getting its value, but most times subpar, but 6 provisions. Queen of the Night, flexible. Protofleather, they tried to like do something with it, but those cards like Protofleather, like how is her name? What's her name? And what is her cost? 1 power. Yeah, Mortarch. Those all in cards are pretty bad. Because yeah, you go all in on second Blitz and then opponent purifies and you achieve nothing. So for 9 provisions, that's a risky card to play. When you can, well, if we're talking rent-free, you just run a Rune Mage. Different ability, but best they can come up with here. Catacans rework was pretty decent, I'd say. You get more vampire bodies on board if you, once again, if your Necrorats are stacking. The card works. I like Crimson Curse. I don't mind Deathleff's ability. So the cards on paper are pretty good. Ori is also a pretty lovely card, but vulnerable. Well, if it's unanswered, same as Bincy, the values on those cards are pretty insane. What did I miss? What about the ultimate vampire that is neutral? Yes, this is a card. This is a card. And this is a card. Well, this card was just killed for no good reason. Yeah, there is even a command. This was a fun card. And check the monster filter. How much of a delay is there? I hope the delay is not on my part. It was fun to set up. It was useful for like patricidal fury shenanigans where you can activate it with your leader. It was sometimes pretty clowny, but at least you can play it, and now it got like initiative. And instead we have fun cards like Sova once again, and AQs that are much more interactive than the Regis payoff was. How do you even fix Regis? Well, it should be a meme card. So for starters, like, I don't know, I never liked the initiative on it. It wasn't that good. It occasionally punished vulnerable Lippy players, but to hell with them. The Lippy that run Ceres, they played like a bunch of 4s that you can line up quite easily. It's once again like, this card is so matchup dependent and clowny. You can argue almost half of the Gwent card pool probably on that argument. So of course it's better against something like Swarm AQ. But yeah, I'd remove initiative from it. Like, if it's devastating on the meta, people just can, I don't know, make it a 15 provision card so you cannot play it. This is a very nice Greed Punisher, but it has order, it goes send provisions, and you cannot really use it anywhere. And Bridges Bloodlust is an unfortunate 4 for 10 card that we have plenty of. They are not even like all in the same category. Well, I guess they reworked. Let's see, right? So yeah, this is a completely different card now. But you remember Gregory, for example. This card was in every freaking deck. It was a dark timeline, but this is still a history of Gwent, and Gregory the Gorgon was Well, the Bloodlust needs a complete rework to do something different, because that was the era of Gwent that I don't really want to talk about. Hello, Beowulf. Gregory, Witcher, Silver Witchers, the Tinin Trio, Regis, everywhere. Give him more boost and he will be fine. Damage an enemy by 1 dead blow, boost self by 5 and gain shield. And like, make him cheaper, but as soon, like, if you don't change how the cards work, as soon as you make them cheap enough to be run, it's a disaster once again. There is a reason why Regis was playable. It was answering, it would still answer quite a few threats, but for 10 provisions, he could be like 5p. Как тебе новый картон? Ну, мы пока только Верину посмотрели. Ну, интересный потенциал, но, наверное, сложно найти место карте в колоде. В том плане, что, ну, 10 за 10 играть неприятно. Против Нильфгарда она может против тебя сыграть, если они начнут блит раздавать. Но как пассивка мне, в принципе, нравится. К сожалению, я не вижу прям такого строгого места в нынешних вампирах для нее. Gregory is a max 6p card right now. He doesn't synergize with anything. That's what neutrals initially were meant to be doing, I feel like. But at one point in Gwent, all those neutrals were like main offenders, being a big block of every deck. What else is there? So yeah, that's the Vereena. We can look at the second card. I know. Interesting. I like the passive. I don't like the slack. The first thing that comes out, I don't know, proportions and overall... if we're talking about building blocks of the body, this feels very off. But moving on. To the second monster reveal, Lara Dorren is here. If you know Didier Drogba or Sergio Busquets, this dude looks exactly the same. Like, he's looking into the camera, checking if anyone noticed that he got those arrows in his side here. But here, Lara Dorren is an elf and a wild hunt unit, which is a spy. So you play it on your opponent's side of the board, and it has a death wish that boosts all enemy units by 2. So you play it on opponent's side of the board, kill her by any means, and you get +2 on every unit. So of course you want to be playing Swarm. How is it easy to kill her? Well, she damages self by on deploy by the total duration of frost on enemy rows. So if you play the frost leader, if you play an echo card and then apply your leader ability, you're killing her, right? That comes exactly to 6. So 1 turn echo card, 2nd turn leader plus Lara Dorren, but you probably want to swarm. So that's not exactly the easiest way. But yeah, you kill her and you get the boost. What's more to this card is that this ability can be triggered again, because when you play a Wild Hunt unit while Lara Dorren is in your graveyard on opponent's side of the board, they also replay her from the graveyard and give her doomed. So round 1 you play for long, you drop her, she dies, she boosts everything, goes into the graveyard. Next round you swarm again somehow, play a gold Wild Hunt unit, Lara Dorren dies, you get the boost again. I will be building Tatterwing Swarm with Lara. Yeah, I'm just curious, what are we doing with the Frost? Like, in Tatterwing you are running Navigators, but that's not enough Frost for Dorren killing. Lara will survive. You cannot be realistically playing Tainted Tail, can you? What's a good Wild Hunt unit for Tatterwing? What? No, that's what I wanted. Wild Hunt. Can you play like anything? Карантера можно гонять. А что ты с Карантером будешь делать? Карантер на своей стороне заспавнит, оппонент ее убьет. И получит +2 везде. Карантир же создает на столе. So yeah, you have Imlerit that doesn't go too tall. Where do you change it? I guess you can play Phantom if you really wish. You can play Gales, especially if you somehow go for the Frost path, but I would assume that you're not, which makes you very vulnerable to transformation and lock. Guaranteed is an option. Well, definitely not Lara Dorren, because даже один раз прокинуть Лару окупает ее провизию. Ну, видишь, у нее есть негативная сторона, что если ты второй раз не собираешься ее прокнуть, то... Ну ладно, ты можешь не играть, конечно, другие юниты Дикого Гона. Yeah, I think you just play Gales. The problem is you'll need to tutor something with Gales. So, are you running Imlerit's Wrath? Are we running White Frost leader ability with it at all? You want to swarm, so you are running an Arachas swarm. Gales with Naglfar and double Red Riders. So you can just go for the Frost. You don't have to like replay Bronze Wild Hunt units. So for 5 provisions the card is alright, especially if you like... If you plan, можно просто Наглфаром ее прокнуть. В смысле Наглфаром ее прокнуть? Там, по-моему, было же unit. Yeah, it says unit, so tutors don't work. Не, нужен гельс или что-то, потому что требуется сыгранный отряд. Would have been nice otherwise. If you haven't seen what Lerio put out, I would recommend you reading through it. Where is it? So this is Lerio's reveal. And a very good place to read about Gwent stats and whatnot. So yeah, you can proc her more than twice. Red Riders can also work with replaying the Bronze Purify. So yeah, that's what I'm leading into. You can like kill her more than 2 times if you purify her. So if you're not killing her on deep blue and opponent is not transforming her, you can purify and kill. You can reach a Sabbath. This is a monster unit at 6 power that goes into their side of the board. They'll have to have 6s and 7s to compete with Lara. Otherwise, yeah. We're definitely doing some shenanigans day 1, day 2 with this card when the expansion drops. Because you can do some stupid shit with it. Stack up a lot of frost, create a multiple copies of Lara, and then somehow chain multiple cards and everything like blows up and everything boosts by 2, like 5, 7, 10 times, I don't know. Depends on how much time you spent on building the 2 exact decks and how much time you are spending in a training mode. So, thoughts on the card? Is Frost running it? Or is some weird Swarm deck running it most likely? Or nobody runs it because, you know... Well, in friendly, what I meant is a friendly game. Otherwise, it's not that easy to achieve. But if you want to do what... do I even have this? If you just go for visuals, like this Morkwork... Ah, that video has a snail cam. Думаю, Swarm точно попробует, Мороз вряд ли. Ну да, я не вижу необходимости у Мороза. У них и юнитов не всегда так много, многие юниты и так уже бустятся до там 30 и их убивают. А вот Арахна какая-нибудь вполне может попробовать. I like the card, but it's wacky. Wild Hunt also wasn't an archetype that needed support. Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Is Wild Hunt even White Frost even running this card? Do you have enough? Well, okay, you have enough units on the board. Like, even if you have 5 units, it's plus 10 on the second kill. And the first kill is... Well, should be natural if you're playing pure Frost. Vampires didn't really need support either. Well, let's see the reworks. Okay, you're getting there, William James. You are getting there. Okay, what are the most dead monster cards and archetypes at the moment? Вампиры слабые даже с Рентри. Если все получается и у оппонента ничего нет, то вампиры очень сильные на бумаге. Но да, есть причина, почему вампиров никто не играет, все играют Жор с Дагоном. То же самое относительно Мороза. Мороз гоняли до 2600-2700. Полгода назад, 8-10 месяцев назад. Но в основном и Карпитен уже, по-моему, сдался. Потому что колодам чего-то не хватает. So yeah, weakest archetype. Death Wish is bugged. They gonna fix that. They promised to fix Dagon. So Dagon promised fixed. I hope for the next season. So we are not getting the like extra points coming out of nowhere. V is dead because Overwhelming Hunger is dead as the old leader with 3 charges. V with 2 doesn't really work that easily, that smoothly. Ogroids are okayish. People even tried like bringing them to community tournaments. I don't think we've seen too many of them in official qualifiers. Some, but not a lot, especially with the Death Wish bug. Relicts, well, non-Golden Necker relics think of the past, so She Who Knows, Mamuna, haven't seen them played in forever. But on paper, like, the card is fine, Hello, Vangi. Always live streamer. Streaming every week, multiple times. Well, first time this week. But always live. Kelly has everything it needs. It's just not an archetype I'd want to get buffs anyway. So Regis with vampires, well, they are fine, but they are lacking something. 2/2. Frost. Frost is also, like I said, both Vampires and Frost on paper pretty good decks that can rack up points pretty fast, reliable, but at the same time they keep losing, people are not getting great scores with them, so something is off. Something is off. Can you fix it by buffing some bronze by 1 provision, 1 point, or do we need big change? We cannot have an economy in the video game where every 2 seasons a lot of changes are necessary for like 3 cards in the archetype. So yeah, Frost, Vampires, I'd say they are okay, but I don't think new cards put them over the threshold to be a tier 2, tier 1 decks. The Relicts, as I said, probably overnerfed somewhere, the non-Golden Necker version, but they got Morwood, very good card. Yaga never found its place, a meme card. Better to stay a meme card than become a villain nobody wants to face. A single power buff to V will be like plus 7 to the deck. Yeah, but it feels like it stopped working as a concept. Let's see what community does. Maybe we should rally for... You take V-Jump Song, you take some bait cards that are not really getting played in V deck, or like mask it as a consume, and you do the campaigning for let's buff V. And people listening to that song gonna be like, yes, this is where I cast my vote in the next season's balance patch. And you get V to 8 or 9 points. And the card is everyone's most hated card once again. So yeah, Yaga needs like, if you want this card to see any play, it needs a change, or you can keep it as a meme card. Yeah, that's why I like 8-9 points. People probably will start hating it at 8 already if it sees any play. I'd hate playing against a Yaga player as well, so that's my 2 cents. Lyric Omen, I don't know. Never liked the idea behind, like, playing 2 cards in one go is nice and all, with it has a downside, but I don't think I ever played the card myself. Что собираешь? Мы посмотрели 2 ревила, и теперь смотрим просто, какие монстр-карты могут поменяться еще. So if I were collecting a list of cards, I think first, second row survives here. Yaga and Lilith's Omen getting a change. Yeah, if we are buffing this by provisional power, I hate this card as a concept that I'm playing against, because there is a big difference or variance on the decks that you are playing. Some have 4 provision cards that are getting boosted and then punished out of nowhere with Yaga with an insane point swing. Others have nothing for it, and it still says stays at like irrelevant stage of her career. КТ-1 сделать имба была. So yeah, let's not. I don't know. It's fine. It's fine to have like complete meme cards that don't see play and occasionally make for a good clip. This might have been a better card. But do they conceptually change it? It's a special. What can we do with specials? Some Blood Moon shenanigans, like spawn and like play something out of your deck, create. It doesn't, it didn't find any place in the meta. Some decks don't even play for provisions. Yep. Or you eat the Blavikens. Well, you're supposed to eat your own 4 provision card if you just need to get it to 5p. So okay, this is a 3rd relic that is not seeing any play because that deck is well, expensive and not good anymore. So if they want to make it playable, they might knock off a provision or 2 somewhere, and it raises from the dead. At the moment, it's just straight up worse than the Golden Necker relics. Death Wish, once again, good deck, but you cannot really assess its performance because it's bugged. Tatterwink, Tatterwink is such a nice addition. Like, we have Sirinova, we have Rentry, we have Golden Necker. Tatterwing goes into the same category, more or less. How cool is Rentry? How cool is Sirinova? I don't know. People tend to hate it. I hated it myself. But as a concept of, like, leading people to deck building outs, it's nice. No. We're probably getting like the biggest patch of our entire life paths. That's my expectation. I know the bar is not that high with biggest patch of my Gwent career, but this is their last chance. And the last patch was really a balanced patch. Рваное крыло нишевый пусть будет. Ну, мне нравится как дополнение ко всем остальным декбилд картам, как Золотой Накер и Рентри. В принципе, неплохо. С Мадуком нашел какую-то нишу себе. в Синдикате пробовали ее с... как она? Ну, как карта называется? Преступление или не преступление? Ну, короче, да. С теми картами играть. А где ревилы можно глянуть? Сейчас, секунду. Здесь работает. So they have the reveals at the moment. Only two cards are shown. You cannot also see the schedule, but it will be appearing there. Так что да, я надеялся просто, когда открывал, что там еще будет этот список, кто следующим будет ревилить. Но так как карт всего 12, они, видимо, особо не запаривались. Постепенно будут объявлять за пару часов до ревилов, кто ревилит. Okay, so moving on. This, a big fan. If they manage to rework another card or two from the existing ones into a playable card or a niche card or something that you build around, I will be happy. Tatterwink is not really a groundbreaking card that wraps meta around itself, but we don't need those cards most of the time. Just a nice addition and a nice rework, because card was utterly useless for years. So Crimson Curse goes into some weird vampire and no unit next. I'm happy. Witch's Sabbath. They are not changing this card, I'm afraid. So it's up to the community to balance this card if it gets out of hand. November is fixing shit and maybe minor changes. True. I really dislike it's either clowny or oppressive. Yeah, I'm afraid that this card stays. Like Golden Necker and everything stays. This card also is, in my opinion, not getting changed. You love it or hate it. It's it enables so, like, every clowny deck is enabled by this in Monsters. Triple Kelly, anything with AQ out, like, besides Triple Kelly. There you go. Frost with Foglets and Winter Queen. Yes, please. Don't even need AQ for that, right? Sabbath and Arachas is so broken. Yeah, but I'm afraid they are staying as is. Like, I was happy playing triple 2-go, so I'm not really a person who says, oh, the card is shit and I won't be playing. Well, first of all, I have a YouTube channel to run, and memes is how you usually get new viewers, unless you're playing like very detailed guides, but almost no one does that. Q Center and a couple more people do the voiceovers and deck explanations, but mostly it's just gameplay or like fast rundown of the deck. Тройной чугу, ну, как-то имба. Когда получается 200-300 поинтосов в легкую делается, но... Лютого медведя? Ну да, но только... Ну, как? Ладно, да, Лютый Медведь тоже по условию работает и на свою, и на чужую. Она работает на обе стороны сразу. Там есть небольшой нюанс. Если ты влетишь в Нильфгард, и он твоих фледеров, например, при помощи Некурата заблидит, то будешь сидеть и радоваться. Или плакать. Golden Necker is fine. Give us way to balance it with the system. Witch's Sabbath, I dislike it. So, okay, Witch's Sabbath, I think if it was up for a vote, and trolls were excluded. I think 90% of the people would have voted for Witch's Sabbath to be changed, but it never happens. Hive Mind, AQ deck, fine. Egon at this value is a playable card. Plague Maiden is what Dave or someone mentioned in chat. Beast monsters never really became a thing. It's sad. But they never got around to building a completely new archetype. And when they did, they built an Ogroid deck. So it's also completely fine. It's just a shame that Plague Maiden, Beasts never been a thing for years in Gwent. Plague Maiden is not exactly on like a beast card, especially after Morwood got changed. Morwood was buffing all the beasts on the board by 1. Now a completely separate card, just play it as a finisher. So we probably are not getting a full-fledged archetype on the last big expansion patch of Gwent's history forever and ever till the end of time. Let's be realistic. Especially after we've seen 2 cards that are Vampire, Deathwish, White Frost support. Well, Deathwish is just because she has a Deathwish. Not really a Deathwish card otherwise, but you see. Баланс патчей тоже не будет после этого. Будет контент и новые карты, и ребаланс сейчас. Следующий месяц они попытаются подфиксить все, что не удалось подфиксить за предыдущие 3 года. Сколько Homecoming? 3-4 года. И потом они еще останутся на пару патчей, чтобы посмотреть, что комьюнити баланс работает или нет. Ну, то есть, уже мы будем менять карты, а они посмотрят, чтобы система работала. Будет она работать, не будет, я не знаю. Но, надеюсь, они ее запустят, чтобы в 2024 люди могли еще попытаться, чтобы был хоть какой-то интерес к Гвинту, чтобы было на что делать контент. Что фиксить все хорошо. Все хорошо, это очень хорошо, Пилновский. Okay, so where did we stop? Plague Maiden. You can play it with Tugo, Yennefer buffs. You can probably run it with Glasty somewhere, but well, there is no archetype for it at the moment. It's a cheap, okay, 10 provisions is not cheap. It's a way to swarm for your Lara Dorren, but playing Frost, Lara Dorren, and this is probably not the way. And yeah, this is 10 provisions, so use your cheap bronzes to swarm instead. Провку снизить. Можно. Yeah. This is one of my favorite archetype. I always loved AQ Swarm. So I probably for monsters would go for just an old school AQ Swarm with talismans, Yen. Well, it ran Geralt Irden most of the time, but not the point of the deck. So I was playing that a lot when I started streaming and before streaming. But then this Plague Maiden deck, which utilized a similar concept, appeared, and yeah, I like that as well. I think it's one of the most watched videos on YouTube channel as well, or it was before the channel kinda expanded a bit, doubled its viewer count, but yeah, pretty cool card. Would be happy if it had a niche to be played in. Eridine, Deathlove, so we talked about Frost, we talked about this, Vampires as well. This card, 99.9% is not seeing any change in terms of ability, so if they nerf it, it's gonna be just a higher cost. Помню, за 12, ну, были времена, да. Потом понизили, и все равно играть же никто не стал особо. В тройном тугу я ее играл. Удобно, сразу же активировать первым ходом играешь шабаш, вторым ее. AQ can stay. Well, if you don't get to break... Well, the combo should be separated somehow. Fair point. You can probably say that Sabbath can stay, just kill AQ. But on the other hand, yeah, the reasoning is the same. They, as with the Renfrey and all the other means of... As Muta Generator and Temple in the current NR. But with the clown hat on, this is exactly the same. Like, if you want clowny monsters, you go for those two cards. If you want competitive NR, you go for Temple and Muta Generator. At the moment, the difference is the clown hat. People tried to put a clown hat on Muta Generator for ages. Turned out card is crazy. What if you want good Scoia'tael? Elves has been doing the same thing for eternity now. Is it a good thing? Почему Лара Дорен относится к дикой охоте? Ну, мне сейчас для таких прямо хороших ответов пришлось бы гуглить Лара Дорен. Но можно... Ну да, она относится к Wyvern. Так что, ну, самое легкое... Они же приперлись. Или к ним приперлись, как сказать. ST, I mean Shiro, which is coincidentally an elf. Have you noticed that I played far less Shiro ever since it became a card that can be pulled off so easy? Like, remember when you needed to work on a good Shiro, and then the fucking scenario and whatnot happened, and everyone is like, yeah, I did a Shiro for 70 points, amazing. You just played a Shiro with the scenario on board and burned all enemy 7s with no setup, or almost no setup. You just prevented one of your cards from getting burned by one leader charge, and that's all. And I understand it, yeah. Но на страничке Википедии, Гвинтовой, Ведьмаковской вики, она все-таки в Ainseed прописана была. Remember when Waylays had a dead blow? Yeah. That change activated a lot of things, but it shouldn't have. I don't like cards getting dumped on the board and still getting point. It's not too often a decider. If you pull off 6-8 Waylays out of your deck, you are, well, quite likely winning already. So if two of them didn't find a target and spawned a 3-point units, it's fine. But somewhere there in Scoia'tael, mistake was made. So yeah, not changing. Maybe it becomes more expensive. If they try to adjust, or maybe they all leave all those problematic cards for players to fix. So we start and everyone goes for Sabbath, for Muta Generator, for AQ, for Temple, and they don't actually fix the, or rebalance those cards. But I can expect this card to like get to 12 provisions for pleasing the crowd. Vivis Incantation. Whenever you play a unit with Death Wish, trigger its Death Wish ability. So, remember Lara Dorren? Yes? Remember? You should read Lerio's post. He already got the confirmation, or maybe it worked the other way around. Maybe my Legion already shared some ideas behind the card. You remember that Death Wish on Lara Dorren? Death Wish, boost all enemy units by 2. So, once again, if you didn't read Lerio's post for the ideas, I would advise, well, if you want a fresh idea, come up with that yourself. But Lerio, like, covered multiple bases already. Guys, confusing as always. Well, when the card goes to your opponent's graveyard, but it's like becomes your card, it's understandable that it's not easy to phrase, but there was probably a better way of doing it. Стол еще нужен, бабку запротектить слишком сложно. Ну, да. Но синергии есть, и клипчанские с этого точно будут. We're gonna get some great clips, and we'll go for making clips with those cards ourselves on the patch days. First couple of days of the patch, most likely. I was planning to play some Gwent, by the way, but yeah, I'm not in crisis in terms of Gwent content making, but I feel like everything I'll do, unless I'll go for like batch meal or like complete memes, I will be playing just Assimilate Knee of God. And I probably have like 20-30 Assimilate Knee of God videos on my YouTube channel already in the past 3 years, so not really interested in doing that. I just read the stream title. Nice. So yeah. And this is where Karantir comes into play. You play Karantir with Vivis. That's 2 bodies on the board. You play Vivis, then you swarm with 1 card, and then you drop Lara Dorren. Everybody like that. You can work towards establishing world dominance as Shiro Ambassador. 69 decks with Shiro before 69 different decks with Shiro. I actually went to check. I have playlists, and I think I have a Shiro playlist. Do I? Gwent Shorts is not that. I have 41. Okay, so there is an actual playlist. If anyone is curious about the Shiro before it became, well, it also covers the Shiro that is Harmony Shiro. But man, 41 Shiro upload. I'm proud. So this card is a meme. You don't really need to. They reworked it a bit, pretty good for the memes. So no need to change that. Koshi, okay, Koshi haven't seen any play outside of Moshcraft stream. And related to Koshi is also Manor's Dark Secret. I haven't tried it myself in a long time. I'm pretty sure that Vampires and Frost are playable in its current state. And their power level is comparable to other decks, but yeah, you'll need for your opponent not to have like multiple Doll Punishes and a bunch of locks. Koshi, I cannot really guarantee it works. I can see Kitty being nerfed by the community. It's gonna be a shit show first couple of months. There are so many takes that you can go. Reading Twitch chat on a random stream or reading some Reddit comments is insane. The takes you read like ranging from hot to cold, from yes to no. Community loves monsters. Yeah, but Twitch chat is not better, Dave. Like, okay, most of the time it's alright, but then there is a hot take that just completely blows your mind. First monster change is gonna be Self-Eater to 6 power, which isn't even a bad idea. People might be hesitant to click on Self-Eater, so not sure that happens. Okay, so moving on. Koshei, yeah, I cannot really assess the power level, but well, in a full Koshei dedicated deck, it's pretty okay, but it probably has lacking bronzes by now compared to other stuff, so there is no reason to play it. Don't people hate relics? Annoying to lose to? Yeah, I think people mostly... no, Golden Necker relics, Renfrew relics were also... wasn't a Renfrew relic deck, I think. I remember Golden Necker relics before the current build and Necromancer Tome being pretty good. Dice to zap, bad. Well, just leader it. So moving on, Frightener, no unit. I love playing this card. No unit, Scorch, Arachas Swarm. Yes, please. Don't think it really needs a buff or a change. Just leave something for people who love uninteractivity. But yeah, you can go like crazy with... If you want to make this card as a reliable point output and a playable card in multiple decks, yeah, as JMJ puts in the chat, you can lower it to 7-6 provisions. Do you want to promote that? It's not the most interesting design. Так, до конструкторов мы никогда не добрались в Гвинте до полноценной колоды. Like, easily can lower the price. I'm not sure they are doing this for... I don't know what they are doing, honestly. If you go for each card that underperforms, you create such a mess for you to only have 1 month, 2 months to fix, that they probably don't go to that, because you don't want to change like million cards abilities for like creating just another pool of cards that are useless. So my expectation is that they are just I don't know. Now that I thought about it, I'm afraid that they just gonna change most of the neutral cards, but if they bring their power level up to playable, all the Lamberts, all the arts get into the playable level, like, then you're creating the Homecoming 3.0 or something. All the Cyprian Wireless, I don't know what's the general idea. They mentioned that there will be a bunch of reworks, and we see the cards mostly for, well, we only see monsters, but fitting into already existing archetypes. But hard to predict what Gwent will be in 10 days. Okay, card is fine. Miruna as a Death Wish or as a card ability is alright, fine. Karantir was hated enough so that it's limited to 10 provisions and sees far less play nowadays. Shitroll, I'm kinda sad that there wasn't a proper deck for it. We had some successes with it, but nowadays... This is 4 provisions. There are 2 of them. You can create more. So yeah, not doing much for Ogroids. Not really worth at 9 provisions for Glastidex to run. Candidate for a rework? Potentially, but then it's just mirrored in Bronze Card's ability. We had like Great Swords and Dagger going for the same, and you probably have like 20 more analogies like this in Gwent. So there is no great motivation to change this card. Could be add like +2 when you play a Groid, so she will buff by 4 from Cyclops. When in deck, gain +9 MMR. You can do that in chat, can't you? No? Yeah, drops. Ah, nice. Easy climbing. That way is the fastest to finish your placements. Okay, so Shitroll is a candidate for a rework. Lyrid Summon, Shitroll, but I don't think this card needs a change. It can just work with a provision buff. But then, yeah, we have a mirroring bronze for that, so that doesn't really work when that card is already at 4 provisions. So you can add, as JMJ suggested, something additional to the current ability. Ariana as a vampire card is like unnecessary, but necessary, can be played, can be omitted. When it stays, if you know that it stays on the board, just play Karantir with her, then yeah, you're winning the video game, but most of the time she's underperforming. Win Moriana, yeah, so that's why play Karantir. If you know that she sticks, play Karantir with her. Product Ladder, we kind of discussed, can just lower the provisions. This card doesn't have to play for 30 points, and you don't have to all in on that. But with the cards applying 4, 3, 6 bleeds, like stacking a little bit for Protofladder, why not? But probably needs to be cheaper. Kiki Queen, once again, Moshcraft's card nowadays. He got that deck working for him. I haven't touched it, as with Koshei. I cannot really assess its power level compared to Death Wishes and other monster decks. The rework with Organics is, can you call it brilliant? Yeah. Probably not the most groundbreaking buff, but it's insane. Like, it's insane. So I don't think you change it. I don't, yeah, like, This change was would have been insane 2 years ago. Probably would have been at like one of the top decks a couple of years ago. I know that there are people. Oh well, it's been already 3 years when the BJ third and Drivblink and everyone was playing it as their like standout deck. It was considered by some already a top tier deck, but it didn't find the wider recognition, I feel like. So yeah, like the Kikimor Queen rework, Tatterwing rework, or not even rework, buff, very good. Very good. Kiki, dupe all gears and crowns with living armor. That was a top tier abomination. I remember that Shadow Leader ability. I remember. That Vangit's Crown deck. Yeah. Fine. Amazing. Ruihin is something that we can play today if we ever reach the stage of actually playing the card game. The focus of the stream changed. I was just thinking about talking about the cards that got revealed today and skipping, but I like this. No. You see this? I'll even delete a copy. This is what Trusky was promoting today, and this is a deck that I think it was one of the Korean streamers who played it, and maybe they still continue playing it. Maybe someone picked it off. But nah, this is not Trusky's pile. This is something that he played or seen someone play, and he just tried to recreate it. But basically, well, Necromancer Tome works with bronzes and triggers Death Wish on order. And then you have Dagon, who is also bugged. I haven't tried it yet. I also lack of Succubus is disturbing. How is Dagon bugged? Its infusions work between rounds, work on the copied cards. So if you infuse something with boost the lowest, Death Wish boost the lowest powered ally by 2. And you put it on Succubus, every time you eat it, you get that buff as well. And it's been happening for 2 months now. And the fact that projects didn't nerf it and didn't know about it till the end of the month, and they didn't have this like time and capabilities of patching it, is very weird to me. But I guess they already downsized and were working on a new expansion, so there was no person responsible for that. But that's just me. They have their own reasons. But yeah, basically those infusions, if you put this infusion on Deathlove, it also was triggering multiple times, so a lot of extra points to be generated. Also, I want to leave this. Yeah, so multiple angles, how to explain it, not a fan still. Because even Shinmiri mentioned that a day or two before the patch went live, they were still like asking what exactly is bugged with the Dagon. And we had Elkelora forfeiting his match versus Denirai because Denirai was playing the Bug Dagon in the tournament on the first season when it was still considered a bug by most players, but then with the new season starting and the bug still being there, well, I consider it just a deck, and that's why we've seen Death Wish presented in qualifiers as well. But oh well. Okay, discard. Draw card, discarded card, unit boosted by its power. Changed or not? Or our project team thinking, we keep this meme. Emirate at 8 would be okay. Yeah, but people will be trolling if this card stays like this, so I wonder which line are they taking? Reworking the meme card for a last hurrah on the meme, or leaving it as is and keeping it, giving it to people to change? They're keeping Imlerate, so I think they might go and touch the card because it's funny. Tencent sets up graveyard. Yeah, like Virus неплохо. It doesn't have any. Yeah, but with Iris it's like 9 for 9, and you need to, like, monsters do not really have synergy with Iris that much. I played it with triple Iris. Still felt meh. Ну, Айрис не так много синергии у монстров, они из своей колоды бусты не высасывают особо. Я пытался тройную Ирис в начале сезона, и даже пару игр выиграл, но это в основном Death Wish колода, которая просто для мема играет Ирис еще. Like, if it was 6p, it would be in every monster deck, because it's just super solid effect. Yeah, that's why it's not. And at 9 provisions, it's more often than not just feels awkward. I get where you're coming from, and there are probably a lot of, like, we talked about Gregory, we talked about the Regis Bloodlust cards like this, for very solid effect, being neutrals and all that. Like, there is a reason why they were priced out and made worse. Kinda same goes for Imlerate. If it's too cheap, you don't want it to be that, because everyone will be playing. So his Wrath is also okay. Tutor, Artgaith, all those. We are going to the cheaper golds now. Riptide, Tome is fine. So yeah, Neutral was mentioned. There is a Phantom. And then there's a neutral that were at some moment played in Frost deck or in Kelly deck in case of neutral and Hyperion Phantom. But with Kelly kind of being phased out, those cards also disappeared. Like, remember Neutral and Phantom and Kelly decks? Pretty solid, buffed. Protected from removal, from locks, of doing their engine things, being proactive with the deck that potentially struggles with only 13 units. Well, you don't play Kelly at all in general, but yeah. We're talking like 2.5, 3 years ago. And card was there. Like, there is no... Kelly deck set in stone at the moment. People will argue between triple Kelly and regular Kelly with variety of bronzes. I don't know, I play like 100, 200 games of Gwent every month. And I watch quite a few competitive streamers. Last time I've seen Kelly was probably over a year ago. So yeah, sure, you can find some of it, but you can also probably find a Mount Art deck. Well, the play rate won't be the same, but that's my experience. I haven't seen it in forever. And well, I didn't take a 6-month break from Gwent. I just played less. So in my opinion, there is no fundamental building blocks for Kelly deck that everyone like, you know NR and you know what is there. Of course, for Kelly, it's obvious what is there. Kelly, Defender, and specials. But outside of that, I think people might argue a bit what units to run. Piggies were like... Neutral was good for its damage and potential setup on what Kelly is burning. Plus 2 points per turn. It's pretty decent. One AR card might get a change. All those melee cheap damage cards, cheap boost cards, we had an entire collection of those released in one of the expansions. Is more relevant for killing Lara. You bring up a decent point. If we are talking about full Frost deck, maybe Aperian Phantom, and this is something you play because you don't always get 6 damage from the Frost. And running stuff like Tainted Tail is bad for everyone. So neutral, Phantom, something to have on the board and combine with the Frost damage, whatever you have on board, on the enemy side of the board. Why not? This card, I have no idea what it does. Deploy. If there is another card on this row, lock self. Timer 3. If this row is full, boost self by 12. Wait, what? What? This is first time I read it. Oh, no, I knew that the card was reworked. But what? So you need to play it on an empty row, and then you need to have full row in like 2 turns. It's so funny. Well, I never seen this card played in its in this form, and I think this is first time I've actually read what it does. I mean, that's not a realization that there is there another card that I have no idea what it does nowadays? Can you guys bring any examples or cards that I'll potentially fail to... Like, if you ask me what Armored Arachas does, in the eternity of like guessing, I don't think I'd ever come up with this. I might have read, like, you know, the patch note drops, patch notes drop, and you just scan it. Damnation, Doppelganger. Wait. There is a doppelganger. I guess it's Doppler, right? Evelyn definitely has the 0 coin condition, where she gets coins. Just syndicate links into the... wait. Doppler. Ain't Doppler just the boost by the same type? And now it probably has the secondary condition that I don't exactly remember. But Doppler is like... It didn't lose its ability from Usurper Human Lockdown. I played Doppler as well in How Many Relics, so... Seen that. Damnation was what? Damage... Was Damnation at one point damaged 3 adjacent units and then it got changed to something? Damnation is not that card that banishes a unit if cleric play. Damnation was the other one with the damage adjacent units by 2, but it might have gotten a rework. Why did I leave deck builder completely? Okay, so it was reworked. Let me think. No, I don't think well, I knew that it was reworked, but yeah, cannot produce the... Okay, so it is this card, but there are 2 of them, and that's why, yeah, that was played by Mayamon quite a lot. The effect of 4 provisions, and then it depends what you banish to get those expensive golds. Yeah, the excommunication is the one that plays. Damnation is creating... Yeah. Okay, but at least I know that effect. For the monster card, I needed to reread. I got one, Disgraced Brawler. Disgraced Brawler is just a 7-point drop for Skellige that locks self if there is a Bloodthirst 3 condition, and if there is no, then it dies. If it's damaged, to what, 4 power? Yeah, but the card just didn't really get changed. And Beastmaster was... Bearmaster was given Vitality. They changed it a bit, but it's still a shit card because it only works on beasts, if I recall correctly. Even after the slide buff, it didn't really change how the card is perceived. It never achieves the greatness it had at the beginning of Homecoming. I hated that deck, the Bearmasters, with Brandy's card. Yeah, that change didn't really improve its play rate for certain. Хатори перестал делать ловушки. Что делает Хатори теперь? Хатори бафает... А что он дебафает, когда ты играешь ловушку? Рандомный юнит или... Yeah. Yeah, I haven't played Hattori. Нормально так. Just looking through Skellige made me realize how shit cultists are. Well, the corrupted Flaminica is nice. Is she a cultist? Yeah, she is. Not only a druid. Okay, let's finish the monsters though. Okay, I Hattori. Okay, so it's lowest powered unit, but yeah, I more or less knew what it was doing. I was just confused if he gains his order back or was there some condition, but it's lowest power allied unit. Yeah. Okay, so I more or less completed the challenge, but between XCOM and Damnation, I needed to see the artwork, then I would have recalled it, because yeah, I've seen that in Action Puzzle, and Mayamon played a lot of that card in that crazy SY list. So Armored Arachas, no idea, haven't seen it in play, might as well rework it, but they probably had some idea for that card. They buffed all the insectoids, you are supposed to swarm, and this is your opener at 5 power to armor. Boost self by 12 in 3 turns. In a deck that already has either abuses Witch's Sabbath, Uncover War. The idea behind this card is like you have either that spawns drones, so you open with Armored Arachas and then you easily either get your opponent distracted by it and it allows you to play all the other shit with stalkers and whatnot. But 8 provisions. And well, they didn't know that we'll have a Truski deck. Also, I need some water. 1 sec. Provision buff, power nerf should do the trick for the cards. And I don't know, maybe lower the power and give more armor. It's underrated. It's I'm afraid nobody knows what it does, honestly. Like I doubt I'm alone in this blissful incompetence when talking about this card. It boosts not to 12, it boosts by 12. Никто не станет играть. Ну, тебе надо ее найти, тебе надо, да, весь сворм свой в этот ряд использовать. That way you are just producing 5p removal bait. Yeah, and removal bait at 8 provisions is probably not that great. It's basically Tiger with some extra steps. Pubs, do you know what Tiger does? Oh wait, what? Ah, okay, you know, okay. But you cannot compare damage and boost. Nah, I won't accept that. I see where you're coming from, but I won't accept trade and boost for... Yeah, but Pubs kinda... It used to... I know, but it used to have just a cooldown, like... It didn't depend on the row, right? Yeah, but it was just a 2-turn counter. Okay. Sure, so the old one. Yeah, okay, then it compares 1-to-1. True. But it got changed and it's actually it's playable. It's not kinda playable, it's really playable. We've seen it in multiple ladder decks. But if you are interested, we can look at it. So you just get to smash things. And if you are playing somewhat decent swarm deck, it's a pretty sweet control tool as well. Because it's not like a random split or anything. It's directed damage. Well, sometimes you don't need the 10 damage, but also take provisions dealing with something. Not by, if the unit is over 9, or if you Igni is active, you remove tallest unit. It doesn't go into every deck, but pretty coolio. So, this card is insane. Like, this took the longest time to talk about, probably, because I wasn't completely aware. It gave us multiple angles. Winter Queen, fine in Frost decks. Sir Scratch a lot with Koshei, with all the Thrive units is alright. Immune, clickable, annoying to play against if opponent keeps his immune and you don't have answer to the rest of the cards. Nah, I think Carlo has a prime potential to get changed in a week though. I feel like it is kind of oppressive for low rank gamers. You might be hitting the exact correct spot, like it's not prevalent on ladder anymore, but the card is annoying. If you don't have an answer, its passive is batshit crazy. Like, if you're playing an interactive deck and your opponent plays an interactive deck, but they have this extra condition of boosting their side of the board on your turn, I wonder who wins it. Yeah, exactly. Like, from the design point of view, those cards shouldn't be this free, especially if you can keep it freaking immune. Like, I understand that it gives you a freedom of either choosing to keep it at 4 and not triggering, and clicking it for greed and for more points. But at the same time, like, maybe make it so that it loses immunity in a turn or two. Because if it's staying to the entirety of the round, you probably are not happy. If it can be answered, then your other thing is potentially not getting answered, but at least there is some interaction between the players, and not the interaction of, we both play and one side of the board boosts every turn. Да, но неуяс она может потерять там через ход или 2. То есть, разреши ей повисеть еще, ладно, через ход она и так теряет, если ты кликаешь, но если это колода абуз, а ты какой-нибудь новичок, и ты попадаешь в такую ситуацию, довольно-таки неприятно играть. В прошке с этой картой редко проблема, потому что никто не играет, конечно, ее. И когда было только самое начало ее релиза, да. Мимасы в Гвинте никогда не бывают милыми. Один из лучших движков Осимки. Yeah. Nilfgaard just loves cards like this. Why wouldn't it? Behemoth fine, Toad Prince got mentioned. It would have been fun if it actually done something with the unit it consumed. But at the same time, you can consume your side of the board, so that's problematic. And, well, if it's done something with the unit it consumed, like spawned it, it doesn't really make stuff sense lore-wise. I think this prince just chewing on you. Yeah, like, if you want to make it more interesting, you can make it a 14 provision card that had some condition to replay a unit, but no need for that. Gales as a tutor, fine. Tribute as well. Jotun got a boring rework with Ice Giants, but so be it. Osral, fine. This fine. Pugo is a sad boy. It wants to go boom boom and break something. For its stat line of what, 10 for 7. I mean, it's not the worst card. Perfect in Tatter Index. It was. Yeah. I don't know. I remember when it was playable. I remember. Summon a random 7 provision, cost the unit from your deck to this row. One season Redraim just built a greedy monster pile, and nobody was expecting that for some reason, so yeah, Penitent Pugo. I remember it probably was like January. I was already streaming for a couple of months, but I never played this deck. And then I kind of decided to play it on stream, and I had no idea what I was doing. So Pugo was only ever playable with Penitent, right? Nobody... Like, people tried to play it with AQ, but it costs you a leader charge, or you need a perfect hand for it to be. Pugo в Синде... Если честно, не припомню. В монстрах понятно, что да, с этим он был играбелен. Когда ты его просто из деки вытаскиваешь. I remember jamming in Gurney. Okay, yeah, Gurney is not Arachas Swarm. There you could have played it more controllable. I don't think it was ever played in Syndicate, right? Anyone remembers that? Don't think there is an easy way to pull it, like, make it. So yeah, it just got a Syndicate side of its... I also think we could have done with more cards that are split between factions, but finding, like, the Pugo is a prime example why we don't need it. You can play it with Flying Redanian. If you're playing it with Flying Redanian, okay, you might have played a couple of Prophet Bronzes, and then it's playing for full value, but most likely you have something on the board. No, I think you're just damaging one of your engines or something, so not really a profit. Okay, so red catchers and crones are fine, and relicts, whatever relics we're talking about. Imperial Manticore. Predatory dive on a stick, why not? Another card, we talked about the Regis Ada. Remember when Ada was in every monster's deck just because 4 damage on dominance, answering an enemy engine, was pretty good. I remember. Vampires played this card, Crones played this card. And then it kinda drifted into the pool of irrelevance. В Дикой Охоте даже вроде играл, да, везде играл, потому что 4 дамага в начале раунда, особенно когда у оппонента еще нет ничего высокого, было довольно-таки хорошо. What stat line would it need to be viable again? Probably a different... I don't know. It's hard. I have a built-in negative... No, not a negative. Negativity to those cards. I hate all those 4 damage cards. Because there were so many of them, and all of them were relevant. I really hang and pray that an Ada will come back and Monster Ada will have a rework. Убрать превосходство. Ну, гарантированные 4 дамага на дороге не валяются за 7 провизий. Все-таки это или карта на 4 дамага, или на 5 без тушки. Или дороже. Она поэтому и была настолько хороша, что у нее было условие, но она стоила супер дешево. Another beast lost time. Yeah. I know. So what stat line would it be running to make it viable? Probably 6-point body makes the dominance not a big issue. But what are you answering with it? Not much. Yep, so like at 6 power I can see some decks running it because, well, NR still runs some engines that stay at 4 power. Nilfgaard has armor on their soldiers, has buffy stuff, so that's probably out of question. I also hate cards with pattern like 5 power. Pattern like 5 power, 8 provisions, order on damage. Rayla, Neutral, Green Aelidia. Yeah, Tier Aelidia is a card that, like, it was written on release that that card gonna be shit. There was alternative in Syndicate already with no limitations. Well, the coin limitations, but it was better. All those pattern cards like Pavko, what's her face? But also like the cards like Dunka. Yeah. Dooney. What are the other ones? The Syndicate dude that was spawning on Deploy. Like there were too many of them. It made sense for an expansion. Also the Phantom just being here. I mean, it's not the worst decision to make one card perfection like this. Nitro is probably the coolest trash monster card monsters have. Well, of course it's coolest, and it's the Wild Hunt Frost card. May I interest you in some Evo from Belhaven? What a card! Once again, some time ago it was playable. You can ask Resonator. We can, like, we don't really have a discussion. Yeah, but it's 5 power. it damages by 2, and if you play Wisher deck, you can shoot by 2 every turn. Yeah. I think the stat line might have been changed a bit, but man, this card... How long of a period was it when he was playable? Because he was playable. Херовые карты в рукопашку летят. Ну, была такая тенденция. Man, Gwent also changed in terms of design. We had so many like those bad cards that at their time were playable for a variety of reasons and for the lack of better cards. Sorry, I'm new, but Igni is giving me difficulties. I see people killing multiple cards with it, but I don't understand how you explain in a dumb way. Okay, we're talking about Igni then. Igni looks at one row, you choose it, and it just destroys highest power units. But you need for your opponent to have 25 points. So if you have an opponent with 2 20 power units on one row, you play Igni, it burns both of them. They are at the same power, 20-20. If it's 20 and 19, only 20 power unit is dying. But it also has an initiative. So if you are using any orders to line it up to make units same power, then you lose the initiative condition and you need for your enemy to have 40 points on the line, on the row. So initiative part is where you are not allowed to use any orders. If you just play it from your hand or from royal decree, so it's 8 and 8 and they all die. Well, 8 and 8 makes it 24. So they have to have something else on the board. But the idea is like it, yeah. So if you have a multiple 8s on the opponent side of the board and you play it, if they have on that row more than 25 points, then all tallest units go. And the initiative part is that you are not allowed to use orders. If you use any order, like your leader ability, your like damage by 2 cards on the board, then you are looking at the just deploy condition. Otherwise, initiative is fine. Like if you are playing it from hand, as you only move throughout your turn, yeah, you can burn. So that's the idea of the card. You just need to like play it a couple of times. But one thing you need to check is at least 25 points on the row. If it's below that, it won't work properly. No problem. No problemo. So where did we stop? Okay, so Ada probably at 6 you can see some usage. I'm just thinking about, like, you go against Nilfgaard, they play a Marine after Calvit. Thank you for the follow, Resonator. Much appreciated. That Marine is already at 6. What are you doing with your silly 4 damage? They play a soldier and buff it by 1. And it already has like 2 armor and 4 power. So you would go like, oh, I wish I had a Toad Prince. Useless. In an arc, potentially, yeah, you're killing something, because not always they have an Imperial Zeal, Inspired Zeal leader charge to buff. Sometimes they just play Arbalist on the back row for the mutant generator. Okay, so moving on. But the card can stay like this, you don't have to rework. Yeah, I just up a power by 1, but I hate those cards. The Beast is also... Beast was everywhere. Kelly, Vampires, whatever monsters played. Deck with Penitent. Yeah, pull your Beast out. Engine. If your opponent goes stall, the Beast follows. A Beast who is not a Beast, so Dave cannot complain about this Beast being irrelevant, but it is a Beast that is irrelevant for like over 2 years now. Anything you can do to make this card reasonable? And now you have Marines for 5p. Now you have Piggies, you have Marines, you have just better cards all around that do not depend on your opponent's side of the board, that still gain you like a couple of points per turn. But Piggy does it better. Piggy does it better. Other mechanics do it better. It was kind of a different world we were living in. How many bronze cards did we have that were boosted by 2 when Beast was playable? Like 2 per turn. None. Piggy was the first one. Yeah, I'm trying to come up with something. Spectre. Ну, можно посмотреть, конечно. Ну, по идее, как один из вариантов, да. Но я не знаю, как он в Гвинте интерпретирован. Искать зверя по зверю была ошибка. Все Скеллиги мне выдала. Монстры. Да, призрак. Классификация в Гвинте тоже призрак. You could argue with Kirak Frigate, but that was 6p in every second turn, I think. Not sure. Yeah, I think it was cooldown too. But yeah, now we have bronzes that do what Beast was doing better, because, well, surprise, surprise, the Marines are possible to have multiple copies of. Well, you can current your Beast, nobody stops you, good luck. Well, okay, for monsters we don't really have cards like this, but we're talking about Nilfgaard and some of the expansions, like Self-Eater is in a long round, or outdoing what Beast would be doing, and also splits your points between multiple engines. Ну, я бы сначала зверей все-таки собрал. Тут достаточно зверей для одной колоды какой-нибудь, но не судьба. Времени нет у проектов на это. Okay, so where did we stop? So Beast, yeah, just outclassed by bronzes nowadays. Phantom, well, we talked about it, might be good with Dara. Also, if you just joined and you didn't see the reveals, we got the 2 reveals for monsters for the Heritage expansion, the last Gwent expansion in the history of humanity. You play it as a spy and you want to kill it, and why not use neutral and Aperian Phantom orders for that? Yeah, you can overheat because the end is nigh. So Phantom is like one of those cards like Dunka, like Dooney. Seen more play than most of. Okay, Dunka seen a lot of play, and Syndicate card with the Horde right? Yeah, with the Horde condition had seen some play when Cash was in its release state, which was crazy. I remember doing that experiment. So we took the Hidden Cash deck with Savola, Louisa, and all the crazy bronzes they had, and then we started replacing good cards for Uma, Aguara, and some random like neutral bad cards that see no play. And I think we managed to win first 3 or 4 games in a row after downgrading 2 cards each win, which was kind of funny but also incredibly stupid, because I wasn't just mulliganing the bad cards away. And then we are talking about replacing Louisa and Savola combo with Aguara and Tuma, which is, yeah, a bit less points usually. Vercat is a sad card that sees no play, but, well, I remember Neverhood breaking the meta, so to say, by starting running this guy. I have no idea why, and, well, I might be misremembering, but he was definitely the one who brought that deck with Vercat, and, well, he didn't win the Open that time, but he qualified for the Open, I think, playing Vercat. I might be misremembering, but yeah, that was fun. And the card is not bad, like, damage the entire row and have an opportunity to damage it again. It's just that armor, Nilfgaard, Skellige, Pirates, when those were meta, were pretty annoying. And you don't get much if you don't get the double swipe on the row. I think in Gwentfinity cards need to be nerfed rather than buffed, especially on Bronze End. I'm at loss at the moment, Corty. I'm still not sure how the system will be working. So how did they mention, will they choose the cards that we are buffing? Метазависим? Ну, это нормально. Просто я не помню, когда была последняя мета, когда эту карту играли. Понятно, что меньше сворма, но Арахну, например, гоняли, и они иногда забивали себе под креветку ряд, но нет, и в других колодах не было никакого payoff от этой карты. I think the strat to nerf problem cards and buff underplayed cards. Yeah, but who will be choosing? Like, who will be nominating the cards? Because we won't be choosing from the entire card pool. I read the thing, but I already forgot here what it was saying. So yeah, kind of okay as is. But that which just has better cards and 7-8 provision cards if they are not batshit crazy or very synergistic or like making your archetype happening. You just omit those and play more expensive shit while, well, incorporating a cheap bronze into your deck. Penitent, Pugo, Penitent Beast trio is just set for multiple years in a row. At least Beast seen some play in Kelly after those two died out. We can... I think I have a clip somewhere bookmarked. 1 second. 1 second. I might have deleted them like a couple of days ago, which would be stupid. No. Okay, let's see. It's sad though. It features Dandy Show. One second. Oh, no, it looks like a raid promotion. Oh, shit. What a great edit. Thank you, Dandy, for all the good times. So I got 3 of them, and all 3 of them got answered. Opponent is certified Martart hater. The first 2... That's Alice's clip, right? The next one, I don't remember. Oh, what do you mean? Yeah, I don't remember. I have them bookmarked for... I wanted to make a channel trailer or something, but then I kinda didn't. So I still have the bookmarks. A meme card has more armor now. There is no... Remember when we tried this card like 3 years ago and it had no armor, and you play against a freaking Skellige with 1 melee ship, and you play this and you feel like playing Colgrim nowadays? It just dies and nothing you can do. Well, yeah, the card is protected nowadays. Still sees no play. I think I only seen Sinter Line run this like a year or so ago with all the larva and kickers. Doesn't have to be changed. The ability is, well, memorable and just like completely useless. Nothing you can do with it. Cannot really have it with Zeal. Making it a conditional. Monter, underrated. I had a cool Yaga deck with relics that worked really good with her. Yeah, but like if we're talking, it still doesn't really qualify like a certified meme. But you can pull off some wins though. But as I said, card is fine. It's it does things kind of differently. Well, we have Skellige that interacts with the graveyard, count all your beasts, and Corrupted Flaminica. And I feel like Corrupted Flaminica is a bit better than Mount Art. Зачем, когда есть Озрал? Ну, Озрал есть всего один юнит, который могут нильфы сожрать, ну, или удалить белки с твоего кладбища. Иногда одного юнита не хватает. Здесь все-таки сожирается все кладбище. Make filter 4 and it's good. Do we want that though? Okay, trivia time. What was the name of the red, like the same card, but the vial was red? What was the name of the card? Vanhimar was playing that. Shrine. Ah, the Pabs knows. Was it also called Overdose at one of the times? Ah, yeah, it even says here as an overdose, but yeah, Shrike and Overdose. Question answered by the Gwent fandom page immediately. Vanhimar was actually playing the red one. I feel like Shrike will make a return. How though? They rework something and add the effect. So far we got 2 new card arts. And 1 weird lag. I know things, you just gotta ask about stuff like 5 years ago, yeah. Yeah, it's also weird because all we get is legendaries. They aren't going to waste resources. Well, they just cannot really waste them on neutrals, where when all we get is 12 cards, 2 legendaries per faction. So we're kinda limited with that. Ada Shrike? What if we are not getting Ada, or if Alice's crazy theory about Ada being added to Syndicate becomes truthful? Monsters. We are almost done, right? With the golds. So meme, Parasite fine, acid speed playable in the AQ, spear tip, well, the combo kind of works, why not? Completely useless werewolf, the alpha one, but so be it. Like, if you want no unit, you can run it. Isn't there like an arc skin with Ada? Yes. It one of the abilities was tied for that. It was dealing 8 damage, but then it was kinda phased out because what did it get replaced with? Was it the Royal Inspiration? I don't even remember. Iconic monsters, and they have completely boring and interactive designs. If we are speaking about werewolves, I cannot believe we didn't get the Moonlight as a positive weather in Gwent. Well, they phased out weather completely, so it's understandable, but I would have loved playing Moonlight deck. Adder, shield wall. Oh, okay, royal inspiration. Yeah, I was thinking about uprising, but I guess the uprising came from this buff once every 2 turns, and other, yeah, might have transformed into shield wall, but I don't really remember the exact sequence in there and the names, but yeah, probably. And uprising was the one I was thinking of in terms of the buffs, but yeah, it makes sense that it replaced the one every 2 turns. Uprising was added. Interesting. See, my memory is not as good as Pabs's or Pio's. So yeah, kind of useless card, supports no unit, but even in no unit you are not that justified running that half of the time. Just play another special or play a unit that you can play round 1. Although I think Sintian was running at least one of those, either bronze or this one. When trying it out, I never liked... I played a lot of no unit AQ, and Werewolf wasn't really a necessary addition. Another beast lost in time. Oh, this is gonna be your catchphrase. And after Gwent is done and almost forgotten, you can say about Gwent, Dave, the same line. Another beast lost to time. Remember when Penitent was like the best card in the game? Yeah, we talked about this trio a little bit. Pugo, Beast, Penitent, another Beast trio lost in time. Yep. Okay, so Purify, Vampire cards, fine. I think it was occasionally played in non-vampire decks for the purification, but, well, Kelly deck can utilize that, for example, but, well, there is Speller, and then there is a Bronze Purify printed as well for the faction purposes. Yeah, so a fine card. And Dragger Queen, okay, I didn't read. It still has consume, but it does something different, right? Okay, to the provision cost. But still spawns 1 drone when barricaded. Okay, so mostly warding and then the armor equal to provision cost. I see. I know, like, it's a slow swarm that barely achieves anything at the same time. Yeah, it's just the question of why would you run this? I haven't seen it in action at all. In previous form, almost never, and in this as well. Can set up Glassy, yeah, but you can also play, I don't know, Arachas Nest in one of the turns. Sure, points are not exactly the same, but you can utilize those 6 provisions better. Replace that with 4 provisions. Don't go tall, eating your other stuff. Don't play 6 for 6 with the slow engine, 1 per turn. Танчит урон также. Да, но как бы помимо Мороза, или ты получишь урон в виде Геральта, который ее уничтожит, если высоко заиграешь, или, ну, не будут трогать ее рандомного дамага. Не прям так, чтобы уж много. Даже скеллиги после того, как Харли реворкнули, не так много прям рандомного играет дамага. Verret, cool card, a bit useless, but ability is fine. It's just that it would have been nice to somehow stop him from working. Spawning drones is good for Stalker. And just multiply your eaters. Why would you run a 6 provision card inefficiently in the deck that needs like Parasite or all the AQ Sabbath components? I like the way streams start to crystallize. 6 factions, 6 3.5 hour streams. Well, we are live quite some time now, yeah. The plan was to play Gwent. Instead we talk Gwent, but it's fine. There is still time to play Gwent. There will be soon nothing to talk about in terms of new cards. Choosing the cards that need to be buffed. Discussing the system of balancing might be interesting, but mostly in a nerdy way. And Dragger Queen is sometimes included in insectoids. Yeah. But it doesn't do anything that is interesting. You don't need a consumer in that deck most of the time. And the bronze ones are also spawning a couple of drones. I understand that if you are planning to go for a long time you can run it, but you need to do the either Stalker setup, Hive setup, so card doesn't achieve much. Abaya is, well, sadly only being utilized with Arachas Queen. It could have been a brighter future. Is Abaya a follower emote? One of them should be a follower one, right? Or at least you can use channel points. But yeah, at the moment her destiny is basically being used on AQ, and if you missed AQ or missed a buyer in the AQ round, you can use it on 4 provision bronze at times, but I like this card more when it was utilized with Mirunas and Manticores. Gale, we kinda touched on while talking about the vampires. Can use, but it's already 6 provisions. Во второй форме Дагона, ну, да. Minus 1000 points costs 1.5. I think it's the price for like 2.5 years by now. So, if we're talking about the correct details, the inflation actually didn't affect it for like 2 years straight. Ну да, Пентагон во второй форме, если работает, то там уже и так все хорошо. What are those push-ups you redeeming? Have you noticed that the push-ups became more expensive? It doesn't matter though, you guys have millions of channel points. So that was the last gold. That was the last gold. It's already cheap. You don't really want to make it a 6 for 6 on deploy without even considering the effect. So kind of fine, but sometimes hard to pull off. I have 1,000 left. We would if your stream schedule was more consistent. Well, at the moment I'm kind of streaming instead of just chilling because I'm home alone. So you guys are lucky. Oh wait, there is a dual function. Yeah, stealing your bread. So going through the bronzes will take forever, so we won't do that. Barbie, okay. Ogre Warrior, okay. Self-Eater, okay. Okay, Fledder is fine, and Vampires Larva is playable because she exists, although a card would have been kind of fine in older forms as well. More playable for certain. There is no Harald to hurt it anymore as well. Divana Runestone is a Runestone, Red Dive, Red Riders, I'm fine with those. Spontaneous Evolution is like one of the best additions, if not for the stupidest ever Ogroid addition when the card was just released. Barbie could use a buff. It's okay for its effect. It can be cheaper, it can be, I don't know. Split its own power, create another Barbie, so that you don't eat twice with the same unit. So Self-Eater, but like split points somehow. You know, the Marvel Snap way. Nah, that doesn't work. All the power, all the units are same power in Marvel Snap. So Self-Eater with an order to consume. Сейчас эта карта с агроидами стала хуже, чем раньше. Но ее все равно играют-то только в инсектах, там нормально. Just spawn a copy with one consume instead of 2 charges on one unit. Well, at 6 for 5 would be a good V buff. Yeah, we kind of touched on the V. So if we are buffing cards for V, that's one way to do that. Реворкали ее под агроидов, ну потому что они ее реворкали, и эта броня нахрен никому не нужна была. С Накерцовым она стала потенциально лучше, но кому это надо? Одного накера на стол играешь. Ну, можешь себе мощь вернуть с бафом на 5, но в реальности this Ogroid buff is completely lost. But when this card was released, why the fuck was Ogroid keyword there? This is lost. I don't believe they had a working Ogroid archetype with card arts, with the card designs already ready to go, and then something flipped and they postponed it by 2 years. Like, Insectoid and Beast part was fine, and I would have preferred the card only having 2. Probably just tried to make people play Neckers. They were really struggling with monsters during Way of the Witchers. Yeah, but release it as is, without the Ogroid line, and it doesn't feel as stupid. And it was pretty darn amazing for the insectoid part of it, and well, flexible with the beast in terms of like sometimes you can use it on on Doggo or on something else. But, well, yeah, for monsters... Well, Way of the Witcher was what? V, right? For monsters. So this was a struggle. What was released for monsters alongside V? You can check it somewhere here, right? Oh, Koshei was the same. Okay. And then, yeah, the reason why we got the Ogroid thing, Fuka, was released with the spontaneous evolution. Very good. Oh, look, you click on Way of the Witcher and you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 cards in one faction. And then you click Price of Power. And you see 12 cards. But it's 3 expansions or something. Eh? Eh? Okay? But we don't need more cards. We always needed, well-rounded archetypes more than we needed more cards. Because since we are doing the rundown of bronzes, people didn't agree with Barbie being okay, but Barbie was at least on par with Oppenheimer, if not better. Okay. But you can drop provision to 5 or change it. Like, I don't like the scout because it consumes twice. So we okayed everything here. Griffin is a fine card for megascopes. For what's the Mamunas, right? Selection from Doldolok is like, what the fuck is going on here? The bronzes were all over the place. The V Koshi were at least 2 different archetypes that worked out for better or worse. The bronzes there were more often than, like, Chimera was a good card. Incredible at times. Design was like, you can just use it if you are short for the consumes. You can't just use it for the consume and forget about the buff part. But it also made AQ somewhat different. You are not you're freeing up space. You are buffing your drones out of 1-point pings. Doldolok itself also had the utility at times of bringing the most powerful card on top deck. But yeah, between Hybrid, Fuka, and what was the 4th option there? Succubus. Well, yeah, you needed a deck for Succubus, and Succubus on release wasn't that successful, was it? Which way was it? Did they buff it every step, or did they have to nerf it at one point? I think it was buff every time, right? Between the Doomed and the Adrenaline value. Yeah, I remember Hybrid being played. Was it community or I remember somebody messing it up. Probably on the community tournament with the prize pool. Might have been... okay, I don't remember who was it. Gradually buffed, okay. Hybrid Chimera made sense alongside Idaran and Idar. as mutant cards, but then Fuka and Succubus made no sense alongside them. Yeah. Okay, I promise we are almost done. So, okay. Mega boring Ice Giant, but now at least it has its power in your turn. You have to play 2 shitty cards to play your turn. Incubus, annoyingly good for Nilfgaard at times, good in overall monster, like, deck structure. Cyclops got reworked, the melee, or whatever it was, condition was atrocious and should have been abandoned ages ago. Incubus could get a nerf, honestly. I think we just need to remove the Dagon bug from the game and it will be a bit better. And I don't know, I don't think we need to nerf it. Like, the card is insane. But multiple other archetypes in Gwent, and striking the balance is kinda hard, but I'd rather have a bronze card doing the points. Rodfiend is kinda unfortunate, mostly for the clip value sometimes. 5 for 5 with some random damage. Well, it's basically a Manticore on the open board half of the time, or Miruna, well, with a slightly different effect, but you're still answering something on the opponent's side of the board, but rarely sees play, so... Does it need a change in its numbers though, 5 for 5? It's, yeah, exactly. It's probably fine, it's just that the random enemy damage is not that great, and other bronze Deathwish units are being pulled by the gold anyway, so you're not playing them one by one. Well, yeah, I'm not calling for the targeted damage on Rodwind. No. It's just that the byproduct of design makes it wasting it points. Targeted wouldn't work with the game engine. Yeah, and then... Infuse the consuming unit with... no, I don't know. The unit that interacts with it gets an infusion, damage 5. But then, yeah, opponent's turn. There are intricacies of the Gwent logic. So, yeah. Probably can be worked around, but we don't need a bronze card that can target 5 damage, so let's not really discuss it. It's just that the design like this leads to card being... It's not like... How much of a fallacy is it? Oh, I'm wasting my damage. Like, you still get some damage. It's unfortunate that you cannot target it on an enemy busted card, but you're also playing it for like 5 provisions. So, yep, I'm of the same opinion. It can stay like this, and it's fine. It's better than the Ice Giant. Barghest, fine. Bruiser, fine. Succubus, yeah, can nerf, but I like it in terms of the... Like, it's an engine. It's a Deathwish. It has adrenaline conditions, so quite a few details on the card. Chimera I love, but been a while since I've seen it played and played it myself. Genkind, fine. Riders. So yeah, we're just looking for the bad cards. Siren as the change was pretty good. Could use a buff. You can switch Adrenaline, but even as is, if you can play the Swarm deck or just as a point slam, it would have been alright. Я в тройном тугу Кимиру играю. Норм карта. Ну, если играешь, да, эту кучу крыс или достаточно дронов, то нормально. Почему нет? You can swing Adrenaline. It's sad that we couldn't make changes to those numbers, but that would have required, I guess, extra 3 steps for projects to make the system working up to put it in place, and that's probably out of the realm of possibilities. Nekurat, Alp, fine for the vampires. Fuka, I don't know. The Drive 2 we were memeing like for a year before it happened on one of the cards. Looking at the design of the... Well, you specified the monster struggles, but in general, we were memeing for Drive 2 and Drive 3. Not really achieving. I guess with current Ogroids you can get a reasonable value from it. But I don't know, just don't play it. Chimera is a card for different Arachas playstyle. For now we play with either. Chimera is different. Is it underrated? It only fits with like Ogroids. And occasionally it plays for some great value. But if we consider that you proc your Fuka multiple times, I guess this is a 6 power. Oh, 6 provisions, so it's a bit different. They should be reaching more or less the same value, but yeah, okay, this is more expensive. Yeah, not bad, not terrible, not great. Witch Apprentice is playable. Toad is another, like, love the Toad design. And now, here it is, card number 1 out of bronzes. Well, the Ice Giant is mega boring, but so be it. This fucking card. Another beast. It still kept it range throw tie. This is so stupid. But I guess they didn't have had any reason to change it because, well, we have some bad cards. And when Slama was around, I think they had one of the dev streams or whatever mentioning that they have some cards like Wolfpack as a baseline for bad cards. It even can keep it. Like, they removed the ranged condition because we moved from Gwent of early Homecoming for eternity ago. Imagine a cross between Winged Snake and the Nightmare. Wyverns are worse. Well, they're way worse. They're shit. Well, Milane is brilliant. Kills 4 drones in one go. 4 damage cards? We just discussed 4 damage cards. Wait. Is it Milane? Yeah, it is Milane. Yeah. But okay, let's finish it. We're almost there. We got to the first shit. Wait, why is there so many of them? What a shit card. Should I say the catchphrase or did this card not even have a card for itself? Nah. I think it deserves it. Look, it's a flying snake. Harpic, fine. The trader I expected to be a bit more influential, but well, there are only 16 cards you're playing, and if you're playing trader as one of them, you could probably play another bronze instead. That one extra point on the location doesn't really matter. It's not like the worst as a one-off. How do we fix him? Do we like need to fix him? If it's almost guaranteed value, then the card is like complete. No, okay. Not busted, but well, not bad. Do we want cards to be guaranteed value? No. But you know how Gwent works. If value is not guaranteed, people just rework the deck to run cards that are basically guaranteed value. Oh, hey Joe, why would you cast a Rapture on yourself though? Let's trade on James. Wait. Did it break? It was working before. Yeah, I also knew how the command I knew how the command works, but apparently it doesn't. So you only play Rapture on self nowadays. Okay, so yeah, card is, I don't know, full power. With the Wild Hunt passive buffing it to 5 plus Vitality. Yeah, I would have loved this card to be more seen more play. People are just throwing it away. Like almost everyone tried it. I've seen Kerpeton try it. I've seen Neverhood run it, if I'm not mistaken. One off. It was fine, but yeah, it got phased out. Nothing changed between mine and yours though, Wolfsbane. Kind of weird that yours was directed at me. Yeah, 4 provisions is cheap. Although, well, you are not running it outside of the Frost deck most of the time, so... 1.5? Yeah. Okay, let's go. It might be one of the targets of the community buffs. Just try it. And then it's batshit crazy and everyone is like reaching gentleman's agreement to fucking buff it even more. Because that's how communities usually work. But yeah, I think the card is kind of fine. Okay, so we have Kiki Stalker, which is a crazy card. White Hunt. Yeah. Ghoul. So, what was that sign? I don't remember. There is a French song singing about the ghoul, right? The Winter Hat song. Ghoul is so sad because potentially for 5p it has Archgriffin to it, playing for 10 points and triggering tribes. It has Gankian to it and do the same shit. Potentially even more. Although those are like 7-point bodies, which are not that exciting. By the way, Stalker, I have an opinion that this new keyword on them will be good with beasts. Yeah, it's probably underutilized. I agree that we can find something. But yeah, if we're talking Skellige beasts, they're kind of boring, point slammy, and probably not getting reworked. And for monster beasts, yeah, we're not getting that. We didn't have time. Ghouls should be able to consume unit from a graveyard, from your graveyard unranged. The time when Ghoul was played in every deck, and it was a long time ago. On the other hand, Rapture existed like that for 3 years. Yeah, but is Predator ability can target units with lower power than own. And it's not limited to damage. It can be like infusions and stuff. Maybe. How disruptive is Ghoul? By eating bronzes from opponent's graveyard. You guys will hate if your succubus gonna get eaten like this, but on the other hand, if experimental remedy is played on it, you already is appeased anyway. Ghoul overshadowed by Incubus being so OP. Yeah, but even then, Ghoul was like non-existent for what, 2 years? Borders? I think it might be a bit too disruptive if you have like 2-3 copies of it somehow and find the matchup. A lot of games your opponent doesn't care about their graveyard and only has like 4s and 5s. So yeah, it might just swing some of the matchups. SK deserves to whip a bit. Man, remember uncapped greatswords? Those were the times. Those were the freaking times. Okay, so Ghoul, what are we even doing with it? Like, you cannot run it and make it for provisions. You can make it ranged, eat something from opponent's side of the graveyard, but probably not. Ozrel is flexible like that if you definitely want to disrupt something. Well, if you're running Ghoul... no. Okay, those are not... connected, so you can run one and not run the other one. Yeah, but sometimes you might find the line. Probably, like with Succubus, mostly not though. I guess sometimes against Skellig, yeah. We still have one uncapped greatsword, but he's 10 provisions, he's melee locked. If we are pressed into changing card, then the easiest way for it to be is just replicate Ozrel and make it eat from the opponent's graveyard. It gives it something more to do. It doesn't change how the card works in general. It probably still keeps it in the shit tier. But we tried. Well, honestly, there were so many buffs in Gwent fitting that description. Two units might be a bit too much. It's weird. Like, on paper, this always looked okay. When the freaking Griffins were played with the mutagen, with the thingy, megascopes, it felt like, oh, you can run one off for a short round. But then you draw it round one, you mulligan it, and then something happens with your megascope Griffin combo. And this is playing like for 6 points for 5 provisions, and you rethink your entire life. Nagelfar crew, fine. Man, Hideous Feast is great. Arachas Nest is alright. Feast of Blood is kinda underutilized. Should be better. 3 damage. If it went through armor, it kinda would solve defenders. It purifies defenders, but it wastes the damage on, say, Nilfgaardian defender, Skellige defender, although you haven't seen that in a while, did ya? Everyone just playing the rent-free. Yeah, so card is definitely underutilized. It's pretty great. I know, like, Monster Bronze specials. Well, Trolley, but has its purpose to troll. Pretty great, Red Riders. Spontaneous Evolution, love it. Hideous Feast in AQ is very, very helpful, for especially with the Predator. Stalker. Arachas Nest, boring, but does the job. This is fine. This was in most decks. Less influential now, but, well, Joust is still being played. Monsters just got, slightly different tools, so different archetypes being playable. This I don't really like. I especially hate when Nilfgaard is rolling that one randomly. From, like, Lydia. But yeah, my point is, Monster Bronze specials are not even secretly pretty great. Especially with this being like 4 provisions. Well, yeah, Bleeding Effigy, not a fan. Banish a bronze from your opponent's graveyard. Yeah, you wanted a ghoul for graveyard? There you go. But it's for Nilfgaard. exclusively. And yeah, like, I don't know, I don't like those. If you control Bloody Mistress Ugerni, you may also target gold units. Those conditional stuff? No, please, no, stop it. There are not that many of those. And when it's crones, it's nice, but crones work separately. This is, if you control, stop it. She's a tribe, so it's anti-synergy. Just find one of the units you played already and buff them. I don't know. But yeah, you are not playing a unit this turn. It was weird on release, it's still weird 2 years later. And this is mostly an annoyance where Nilfgaard rolls it when you are playing something monster related with the Necrotome, Incubus. Well, yeah, mostly that. Fiend rework, kinda cute, a relic card. 8 for 4 on a clear board or clear row. Why not? Necker Warrior, I guess rework kinda worked. Not sure how good this scenario is nowadays, probably not, but like, they change it. Yeah, the Fiend rework is, well, it's kind of boring, but why not? It's just that the norm of 7 for 4 is kinda becoming 8 for 4 and whatnot. Portal buff when? I think Maimon plays it with Portal. Yep, I'm not sure how high he climbed with it, but I've seen him like 3 days ago playing Portal Fiends. I didn't see the MMR. Okay, so Kiki Worker, I still don't understand. That was one of the stupidest nerfs when this lost an armor. Like, for no reason at all. Yes, Kiki Worker is the card we are nerfing. 3 damage is kinda easier to get than 4 damage. Is fine as I absolutely hate the fact that it blocks your era if you are pressed into continuing playing and you trigger your next stage that you didn't plan initially. It's a fine spawn, so the card has its utility. Sadly, you're not putting it into your deck. But yeah, as I said, it lost 1 armor for no reason when different cards needed to be touched. Kiki Worker is not the most exciting card to play though. I play it in Necrotome Insect deck. I see. Well, guess it's points and something else gets to live. Conqueror, fine. Yeah, fine. Noonwraith, one of my favorite Glasty cards. You make them want to kill Noonwraith and then you just Glasty them. Brilliant. It's 6 at 4 for 4 at the moment. Also, like, half the decks have the way to deal with their Rat Clock. Not like we're promoting Rat Clock here. Spiritually, she's an 8 power card. Yeah, we have 8-point card at home. Not sure, like, it can be a 7 at least. Too many high power bronzes with backdraw. We are? Are we though? Are we promoting that? Red Cloak, is that after Jotun rework? Yeah, they stole a lot of points from that deck. I'd like to see something interesting for her. Well, Red Cloak is very memorable and very interesting. So okay, I don't know, make it 7 for 4, but yeah, I get it. We have 7 for 4, we have 7 for 4, we have 7 for 4, we have 8 for 4, but 7 for 4 potentially. You can like figure it out. So Silena happy, I don't know, the bonded change was fine. When it's playable, it's playable. Not much to say. Pretty great bonded condition. We have too many 7s for 4. Yeah. Let's make it 6 for 3 then. I don't know. Ice Troll. Might. Yeah. Oh well. Can play it. Why not? Feels the pattern of those who want per turn engines with the condition. Absolutely useless. The fact that we don't have a positive weather condition deck is understandable, because duality of weather would have been annoying, and we made away with the weather clears as well. Was this ever played? There were multiple no-unit decks that tried running it. I think I might have reached like 25-20 with the no-unit AQ, and it had one copy of Werewolf. Remember the times when Woodland buffed Werewolf for 8? Do you mean the better times? Because I was a noob with no collection during those times. I didn't have all the decks, and I wasn't really watching Twitch. Because the Woody in Homecoming was just... Yeah. Was it at one time buffing? Yeah. What was the wording though? How was it buffed by 8? Okay, I can check for myself. Woodland, Force of Nature, 2018. Boost. Okay, it was buffing in hand. Yeah. Yeah. Also, very great website. So yeah, it was occasionally played with no unit strategies. If you don't know, on this website you can also see old Homecoming versions of the card. Pretty handy. You can change it here. Boost a unit in your hand by 8. Wait, did it change? Okay. Wait, what? Cards with order cannot be used for one turn after being... Okay, yeah. Yeah, it was... Oh, fuck, we had money. I don't know, I tried to block it out, JMG. I tried to block early Homecoming from my memory. Yeah. It was... The reason is not the Mulligan system or anything. I fucking hated reveal in the early Homecoming. О, здорово. Здорово, Макпай. Спасибо за рейд. Чё, стрим топ-1 был? Или не топ-1? Всем привет. Hello, everyone. Easy 250 с днем рождения. Спасибо. Немного рано. Как тут дела? А мы сегодня хотели поиграть в Гвинт, а в итоге просто смотрим карточки монстров. Где плюс 250-то, Макпай? Не топ-1. Ну, видишь, вот если бы залутал 250, то был бы топ-1. Смотри. 10473 плюс 250. Оп! Топ-1. А мы картонки монстров смотрим. И смотрели, что можно было бы забафать. И мы почти добрались до самой лучшей карты монстров. Cockatrice. Имба. Такая же имба, как и Wyvern. Okay, so where did we stop? Yeah. Cockatrice. Ты у Матола играешь в турнире, Макпай? Будешь там имбовать? Так. We stopped at Werewolf. Yeah, a very good card. Every no-unit player loves this card. Some say lycanthropy is contagious. Get beat by a werewolf, you turn into one yourself. Witchers know that's nonsense, of course. Only a powerful curse can bring on this condition. Если время будет... Окей. Ну, я у него просто спрашивал насчет состава, потому что, наверное, на моем канале половина матчей пройдет. Поэтому было интересно по составу, но он все еще ищет и договаривается, видимо, с про-котлетами. If the card would be bad, it would be spiritually bad. I don't like this. Why is it immune? Why is it not doing anything? How is Werewolf immune to begin with? If we are talking about the more important questions. I know. Yeah, as it was pointed out in chat, the werewolves are kind of wasted. But in my opinion, yeah, it also connected to the fact that we don't have positive effect. Помните, в бете была позитивная погода, лунный свет и все дела? Вот бы в Гвинт такое, но нет. Funny detail, alpha werewolf and regular werewolf, same flavor text? Ah yeah, I wouldn't be even surprised. I also failed to find it, but it's a gold one. Wait, not a funny. The most ferocious among those cursed are not even deterred by silver and alchemist fairy paints. I was lied to. Live on stream. Feels bad. Werewolf should be like consume an enemy unit by one... enemy unit with 1 power or something? Yeah, see, it's not even debate. Someone lied. I think what you said was factually correct like a year ago, though. We can check. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh, Teddy, your website has a mistake. It was 5 for 5. Then the immune was rewarded. Then it was 5 for 5 into 4 for 5 into 4 for 6. You see, Dave? The card is busted. Into 5 for 6. Into 6 for 6. What's next? So I didn't fly, actually. Yeah. I even accepted it because I think I've read it some time ago. But yeah, now I opened it and I was like, interesting. The words are not the same, but I have no idea when it changed, and the website even doesn't have it as available information. Окей, moving on. Осталось совсем чуть-чуть. 3,5, уже больше, чем 3,5 часа сидим, между прочим. 3.5 hours, incredible. Just sitting and in the deck builder. Lesser Reaches, definitely fine. Very fun card. Swarmy, bonded condition. Very weak on deploy though, when you first play it. Like, very shit. And I'm not sure how to solve it easily. Foglet, Ran Warrior, completely playable. Mylorn got to do with some death wishes, but do we want to play like 6 for 4? Baby Abaya, yeah. Would it hurt if it had like a drive on it? Would it actually make it like better? All the death wishes are kinda eh. Ideally, what works is you infuse something with the death Dagon, and then you trigger all the death wishes. Then it's worth to run Mylorn. This is underexploited with Rotfiend as machine gun control. Yeah, maybe, but then you have to have Rotfiend on the board already, and then it kind of gets killed by assassination in your set. I guess we just, yeah, like, you're proccing your death wishes, you want to play golds and you want to play consumes. If we are talking about the death wish unit already, but then infused with Dagon, then it becomes like, oh, I'm playing over the provision curve. Yeah, but what I meant is that then you play then you are with Mylorn in your deck doing, well, probably a 6 for 4 play. But yeah, it was just the fact that your setup requires you to have that unit developed and opponent also playing something that is worth killing. But yeah, we talked about this. 5 for 5 is nice and all. Card is definitely underplayed, but it's also annoyingly underperforming when you try to make it work. Okay, Lara Archispora. Completely outclassed by most things you can play. Very shit with like Brews being a thing. Completely unnecessary in most decks, and it was everywhere before. Oh, not everywhere, but any deck with the consume was running it. Put in. And then you are running Foglets for Tinin as well. Or you were. Not anymore. This could do with like completely new ability. What if... Oh no, we have the Cat Witcher already. But if you can I even find the... We need to spend like 3 streams watching old YouTube footage, Gwent footage. What the fuck? Archespore counter. They're gone. Can I find Larry? Oh, there is Larry. Amazing. Does it do what it's supposed to do though? Oh, look at it. It moves. It's a cat feature. Also, post stamps everywhere. Money. Beep, boop. Very cool. And kind of fitting with what Archespores are doing in Witcher 3. I suppose. Jumping and hiding and appearing in other places. Why did the plant move? Have you played Witcher 3, Blood and Wine, and fought Archespores? They're hiding and then appearing in another spot, so that's actually like lore friendly, I'd say. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm not certain. Are Archespores present in other Witcher games? Not in the second one. I have not. Okay, but it actually corresponds with what fights against Archespores looked like. It was moving, and then you attack it, and it hides and spawns in another place. So I guess Lara can have a Thrive rework and match another monster plants. Yeah, we never got the monster archetype for plants, and I guess we are not getting it with Vereena and Lara Dorren. It's sad. Flake tried his best. It just needs a rework. I don't like the thinning part of it, especially with the thinning that we got. Fine for the newbies to start with a... do they have it in starter deck? I'm not even aware. But now, the most broken card. And we are so fucking close to ending this. Like, probably have to end in 5 minutes because I kind of want to go to sleep already. Cockatrice. Damage enemy unit by 1 for each adjacent beast. So, you have, boom, power of dealing 2 damage. Not 1. By 1 for each adjacent beast, and there are only 2 places. 2 places. And you put a cog between 2 places. And then you strike. Sorry for the graphic imagery. And you do 2 damage. But for 4 provisions. It's insane. It's so bad. Like, it's a baseline of bad. Slizzard is very great. Foglet is very good. Where were we? Forktail. Underplayed. Occasionally batshit crazy when Nilfgaard creates it. I remember the OBT times. We can look at the... where is it? Yes. All the changes. Damage enemy by 2 for each adjacent beast. Reach 1. Remember reach. Another thing to forget. Freaking reach. For almost no reason. No, I understand, but this website only covers the homecoming. How was the previous version better? You see, it's a 2 power. But it's 4 damage, it's crazy. Especially early homecoming. Then 4 for 4 happened. But that's like a major homecoming rework, I would... It also had reach 1, so the distance in rows that you can target. Reach 1, hit the enemy row. Reach 2, and you can reach the... Man. That was fun. It probably was the catalyst for Gwent's... I don't know. Not the reach one. The problem was the reach of Gwent and the like big card community audience. That wasn't achieved, but yeah. Early homecoming. It gets a thumbs down from me. The least I played, at the moment I only finish my placements, and not every month, but I kinda stopped playing during early homecoming because shit was stupid. Okay, so Breach Troll is boring but playable. Garcane we talked about, Plumber we kinda talked about, and Rega Warrior beautiful river or addition. Another okay. Wait. Yeah. Okay, another beast lost to time. Very good when Nilfgaard rolls it against the Swarm deck though. Insectoid. So this is a very good rework. This is a normal card. Banshee from hand feels very bad. I guess it's an engine, but Banshee from hand feels incredibly atrocious to play. I think it was at one time being run. And Rega X a bad. And it's fine if your deck needs insects. I'd say Endrega X is better than Banshee when played from hand. I'll give you that. It's a matter of perspective of what are we talking about, but I'd rather play this in my deck than finding a reason to play the Order Consume that can be only used once and then continues growing on a weird condition. Like from the Haunt it's fine, but other than that I played too many bad decks with Endrega X that were actually doing something useful for it. Could go to 5 power, why not? Okay, then we have the Taskmaster, a weird one. Requiring dominance to purify own unit. It's 4 provisions. It's Peller, but worse, but faction purify, wow. How is it worse than Peller? 4 provisions. Because Peller is a card. Hi it is. Hello into my TED talk that lasts for like 4 hours already, and I need to go sleepy. No. Yeah, you can purify Lara. instead of killing her immediately, you purify and use it again and again. Just don't forget to swarm your side of the board instead of doing all the manipulations with Lara. You actually need to also swarm a bit to get the payoff. So yeah, but Taskmaster is fine. Nobody runs it in Frost. How is ladder going? We haven't played a single game today. We are doing coolio. We're just looking at the cards in the deck builder and not even sure, like, we didn't make a list of cards that need change. And just that this is the last reveal campaign and it's fun just looking at the cards. Haven't even like focused on the card arts too much. Hybrid, just think about it. It's 9 for 4. Do we know that it's Syndicate tomorrow? Also, what is there to discuss in Syndicate? This card is worse than what is played in the current one. This card is worse than what is played in current Syndicate. This card is underperforming compared to the other ones. But yeah, it's 9 for 4 on a condition that you like destroy something. Oh, okay, I didn't know. I didn't look properly, I guess. It's nice to know that it's Syndicate. My least played faction, but hopefully it's something good. So yeah, card is kind of bad, but at the same time it's flexible. Cursed Damsel is probably also good on paper, played from scenario, but do we want to play it from hand? I guess we'll have Novigrad location. Damsel is strong. Oh well, I suppose if you play it and the scenario is on board, she's already kind of grown, and then you can grow her with the Thrive and Kitty, and it's already like at 8 power, like 6, 7 power, and 7 power is already enough to answer stuff. But we are not really buffing this. It's just that the Thrive, Koshi, Kiki is not seeing any play because of the locks damage removal, would be my guess. And then the other decks that are being played are also fucking greedy, if we're talking NR and Cultists. Aristocrat busted. Hatchling is boring. You're not playing it from hand, but from Hive it's like a filler card in the deck builder card that is being played through a special. I will never get Kaer Moran. That's completely a different topic to talk about. Gwent's decision making in terms of fucking up some of the potential for engaging the audience in the most memorable ways. Let's finish it. So Enraged Cyclops, everyone was crying about it. Turned out to be fine. Like, it's annoying to lose to Ogroids, but like, not the best. Underrated. Kills quite a few things or puts them into the removal range next turn. So underrated, doesn't need a buff, needs a better play rate than it has at the moment. But probably people got burnt by this being just a 5-point card and decided not to run it. Hound, another Kelly card, nothing to do with the Wild Hunt. You probably need to run it for Lara. Yeah, it's another way to target damage something. So, Navigator, busted, Brook. So, do we need to buff Brook some? Or is it fine? And how do you even buff it? Buffing drive cards often achieves almost nothing. Like 4 for 4 with the drive and bleed. I guess it's like potentially better than the Fiend's 8 for 4. But quite often you are just not proccing your drive enough times, and this buff just steals one of those. Needs rework, outdated and boring. 3 bleeds is actually okay for... Yeah, but we can't have all the bronzes given like 3 bleeds and more bleeds. Give her 9 base power? Why stop at 9? Make her give like 10 bleed to opponent side of the board and then damage self for every bleed triggered or something. Yeah, I can see, like, there are only so many bronzes you can play that give bleed, and it's not like Fladder, Copy Fladder, Incubus. Like, Alps are pretty great, Nekurat's pretty great. This is... You're not playing on Drive curve anymore, like, before we had... What? And regular one, Drowner, Bruxas were played in Vampires, not anymore. So might as well abandon the whole crew of those cards and play your Vampires. Especially since you have like better Vampire synergies. Or not better, but similar-ish. Garcanes are there for 4 provisions, doing the job. Kiki Water, well, I remember this card being played in Syndicate, unlike Pugo. So, there's something worked out between those two factions. Night Wraith, love the card. Overswarming you if you're playing Swarm, overswarms you from Haunt as well, so doesn't need a rework, but doesn't really do anything too clever. With Vamps they could boost bleed stacking payoff, I think, with Protoflader payoff. It's another 7 for 4. With Protoflader, we talked about it. The card is kind of fine. We don't really need to be for it to be a bigger payoff. It might be a cheaper payoff. It's boring. So I mentioned that the Plague Maiden is one of my favorite cards. To play Night Wraith is like a filler card in that deck, but shit is crazy when you get this one and one from the Haunt and you like risking overswarming while not having consumes. But yeah, the effect is kinda... Oh, let's have the low, like cheap Death Wish unit that is playing low to the out of Toll Punish removal, even if consumed, and then more rats for no particularly good reason. But yeah, Beast deck was never a thing that was fully flashed. Man Trap, fine. Drowner probably needs something to make it more playable. Why is Drowner moving things to begin with? Trying to drown them, yoinking them. Drowner is a fine tech card. Yeah, but it's underused and also meta dependent. So yeah, as you put a tech card. Yeah, but you cannot drown on the range throw. I remember Maligion mentioning that they tried to make art playable, but they couldn't find it. Its change, buff, whatever. Because, well, the easiest fix for art is to allow it to pull units from the range to the melee, but it doesn't make sense. And Drowner as well. And I don't know. It makes sense because it moves you, but not between the rows, I feel like. But anyway, that's not important. It does what it does. Can be a 3 power unit, doesn't make much difference. I guess it potentially survives some stupid 2 damage kill that would have removed it otherwise. So not great, but also not terrible because you need movement at times. Necker is, well, just eating small things, but the card is kind of fine. We cannot have it. We cannot have it buffed. It's already 2 units. We cannot give it armor, not at 4 provisions. So that's the monsters. I hope that we see Cockatrice and Wyvern either reworked or buffed properly. That's definitely on the wish list before the homecoming Gwent is put into the community's hand. I think Brooks is kinda fine-ish as is. Hybrid, well, something could have been changed about it, but yeah, if Karen Deathwish is not playing it, something is probably wrong with the card. So, Bleeding Effigy, don't like it, would have also sent it to the rework. But yeah, so there are quite a few archetypes. It's said that half of the faction is relying on Witch's Sabbath and Arachas Queen because the pure archetypes are not that powerful. Yeah, I wouldn't place take any bets on the Beast archetype being fully worked into Gwent. Alright, so on this we are finishing for the day. I'm not sure why did we spend 4 hours in the deck builder, but it was fun. Thanks for watching. There is a YouTube channel, there wasn't an upload, and well, since we were just spending time in the deck builder, there won't be upload tomorrow as well. We should have played it instead of watched it, the Gwent I mean. If you missed the cards, Lara Dorren is newest addition, and the second card that got introduced is Vereena. So if you miss those, find them. Vereena is for vampires, Lara Dorren is for wild hunt or some swarm deck. descriptions are available on Play Gwent website. Yeah, it was fun. That's why I decided to stick to it instead of just jamming some, like, most likely either boring decks or the decks that I played, meme decks that I already played this month.